They say the true alchemists weren't chasing gold. They were chasing something far more valuable, the soul, purified by fire. This is the forgotten story of Zosimos of Panopolis. A man who claimed he had burned his own spirit and emerged on the other side as light. He lived in Egypt over 1,700 years ago, but his name rarely appears in modern history books, and yet, he may have held the secret to what we now call quantum transformation of the self. Zosimos was no ordinary alchemist. While others obsessed over lead and gold, he wrote of dreams, vivid, terrifying dreams. In one of them, he stood in a sacred temple, watching a man being dismembered and burned alive, only to see him resurrected in a form of radiant light. That man, he later wrote, was himself. But Zosimos didn't believe these dreams were metaphor. He believed they were messages, encoded visions from a deeper part of reality, where time folds in on itself and the body is merely the crust of something divine. In his texts, he described the or inner work, not of furnaces, but of consciousness. He spoke of purifying thoughts like one would purify metals. He spoke of the ego as a shadow that must be burned, of desire as lead, and of the awakened soul as gold. Modern quantum theory tells us that observation collapses reality. Zosimos seemed to know this centuries earlier. He claimed that the soul shapes matter, and that true alchemy is internal, changing what you are, not what you hold. He practiced silence. He fasted. He wrote of separating the body, spirit, and soul, not as a death ritual, but as a sacred reconstruction. He said, "The composition of the soul is a divine fire, trapped in matter. The only way to release it is to let it burn." Zosimos lived like a Stoic without naming it. He welcomed pain as purification. He saw suffering not as punishment, but as distillation, removing the impurities of identity. He warned that the world would forget this path, that alchemy would become greed, that spirit would become formula, and that light would be lost to metal. He was right. Most people remember the philosopher's stone as a tool for eternal life, but Zosimos said it was not a stone at all. It was a state of being, a human refined by inner fire who lets go of fear, ego, and illusion until all that remains is awareness itself. He called it the sacred death, not the death of the body, but the death of who you think you are. And what's left? Light. What if Zosimos wasn't mad? What if the fire in his dreams was the same one we feel when life burns us from the inside out? What if pain, loss, and chaos are not curses, but crucibles? And what if those who endure don't just survive, but awaken? Maybe you don't need to escape suffering. Maybe you need to enter it intentionally, mindfully, and let it melt everything that isn't truly you. You don't need to become light. You already are. But first, you must burn. If this story moved something in you, share it with someone who's walking through the fire. And if you seek more ancient wisdom the world forgot, subscribe to Stories of Ancient Wisdom. This is only the beginning.